Welcome. Today's topic, a flat earther who thinks that we live in a greenhouse. Today I am watching Kyle Adams' latest video. In this, he have used the interview with Mark Sargent and made a video about that. Oh dear. Let's start.
I love Mark Sargent. He is not crude or vulgar, he is super friendly and really positive.
Kyle, you forgot to mention that he spreads a lot of lies.
And according to Rob Skiba, Mark Sargent was the guy who recruited him into Flat Earth.
Is that some kind of achievement?
So gotta love him for that.
Rob Skiba, who tragically died because he believed in conspiracies.
Anyway, recently he was interviewed on Odyssey Radio. The whole interview was about an hour and a half, and in it he said something that was so good I had to share it.
I can't wait. This is going to be stupid, I'm sure of it.
Also, his radio interview didn't have any visuals, so I thought, I've got to add some visuals to this. So, here you go. Enjoy.
Enjoy? I'm quite sure that we will laugh instead.
Let's say, for example, the second floor of where you live right now, you turned into a little vacuum chamber, right? You know, like 20 feet by 30 feet or whatever, right? And you put a valve above your head and a lever, and you pull that lever. What happens? It's not like the movies. It is instant. It is violent. The air will absolutely equalize in a fraction of a second. You know, any deep sea diver will tell you this. Anybody that works on oil rigs, any submarine people, they will all tell you this. It is extremely violent. Pressure next to non-pressure, even though you can't see it. You know, like right now, what we're breathing in right now is not nothing. It's 80% nitrogen and 20% oxygen, right? So what happens when you pull that valve above your head? It just fires up instantly. And in fact, you'll probably black out. You might even die.
And so right when it gets to full vacuum, this mylar will rupture, and so it will be a catastrophic sudden failure, which will simulate what would happen if you were in space and suddenly the wall behind you got blown out. Whoa!
So when you go outside, why is our atmosphere still here? You know what I mean? Meaning our atmosphere sits right next to the vacuum of space, the purest vacuum of space. I've talked to vacuum chamber experts. You know, and when you have a pure vacuum, it's like orders of magnitude even stronger.
Vacuum. It's not a force. Vacuum means empty. It's nothing there. Oh dear. Vacuum comes from Latin and means vacant, empty.
So your first and only knee-jerk response to that will be gravity. It is, well, gravity. Oh, gravity is obviously holding the air down. I go, you mean the same gravity that couldn't keep the air in your living room from rushing upstairs? That gravity? The exact same gravity?
And at the same time, you have a slightly higher atmospheric pressure down in your house than upstairs. And this can be measured.
And then people kind of get stuck because they know, you know, science says, well, it has to be gravity, otherwise we'd be dead. And I go, that's not how the logic works. What is the barrier? And they say gravity. And I go, gravity is not a barrier. Tell me what happens when you get to the bleeding edge of space, where our atmosphere ends and space begins. Tell me what happens. No science can tell me. They're just stuck.
And this is obviously a lie. What scientists have Mark talked to that have silenced? This is so simple. It's basic physics and the atmosphere. There are not a line. Here is the end of our atmosphere, and here the emptiness of space starts. Our atmosphere stretches further than the moon. Today we know that the atmosphere stretches so far as 65,000 kilometers from Earth.
And they just say, well, it's got to be gravity. And that's the end of the discussion. It's like, and it's because it's the only option for them. I go, other than being a pressurized system, you know, that we're living inside a dome, we're living inside a snow globe that's holding the air in. I mean, there's a reason why they call it air pressure. Oh, and while we're at it, there's a reason why they call it greenhouse gases. Doesn't it make more sense if it's an actual physical greenhouse?
Oh, so Mark lives in a greenhouse. That explains a lot.
I never understood that, even before I was into flat Earth. You know, when fluorocarbons, when we were talking about the ozone layer, we're banning styrofoam things at McDonald's, and we're banning underarm aerosol deodorants because
Cans
like,
of
oh no, the
hairspray.
fluorocarbons get up to the atmosphere, they just stay there.
Yeah.
And as I'm getting older, I'm going, how do they stay there? So anyway, that's my big cling to. But most people, it takes them a while because again, a vacuum is invisible. You know, you could be sitting in a vacuum chamber right now and visibly, because of our spectrum, what we can see and what we can't see, no one would know.
Once again, its vacuum is empty. Why would you be able to see a vacuum? It has nothing to do with which spectra you are able to see. Mark is talking about that we can't see a vacuum as some kind of proof. But at the same time, you can't see the firmament, the container, and so on. What is it containing of? How far away is it? How high up is it? Where is it connected with the surface of Earth and so on? Oh dear.
So that's a very convincing argument. That's very interesting because you would think if gravity is, and I'm not a scientist, I'm a science nerd wannabe.
Sure.
But it seems like, so the gravity would have to be more powerful than the vacuum that exists within space to suck in or hold in this system so that so that space didn't just rip us apart, right?
Right. And there's no examples of that. I mean, and you can defy gravity all day long. When you're like, take a straw into a drink, right? Whatever it is, iced tea, soda, doesn't matter. Like, you are going against gravity. You're creating a small vacuum force and to drink that liquid, right? It's easy. A vacuum force will beat gravity every day of the week.
And one more time, it's not the force.
But that's not what we see when we watch television and movies. It's always the same thing, right? There's a hole in the side of the spaceship, right? It's like, oh, Lord, we're decompressing. We only got 2 minutes of air left, right? Get the duct tape, you know, and it's this race against the clock. It's like, no, it's instant. I mean, it's a fraction of a second. And if you ever see that in a space movie, which is why I know it kind of dates me, the James Cameron movie Aliens from years ago, right? The end where Ripley opens up that door to space. Right? Everything's getting sucked out. She's fighting, climbing the ladder. No. She's dead. The little girl's dead. The alien's dead. The Marines are dead. Everybody's dead. Movie's over. Roll the credits.
We can only have a pressurized atmosphere so long as there is a container.
Kyle, gravity holds the atmosphere in place. Gravity, you know, if you hold the apple in your hand and you let it loose, it falls down every time it falls down. Not sideways, not upwards. Why? Because of gravity.
The existence of our atmosphere proves there is a firmament above our heads.
All Kyle and Mark managed to do is prove that they are science denier. I'm surprised that he didn't use this kind of video, because this is often used by flat earthers to prove the incredible forces of vacuum. But in fact, the rail car is imploding. It's not exploding. It's forces from the outside making it implode. Perhaps Kyle will understand with this example. The force to the can was from the outside, the same as with the rail car. The problem is that Kyle and Mark don't understand the basic physics. Have they ever gone to school? Let's look at when a school does experiments with atmospheric pressure. But I'm quite sure that Kyle and Mark will not understand that video either. Once again, big thanks to all you who support the channel and in that way support my fight with sending drones to Ukraine. If you want to help, use PayPal, link in the description. That was all for this time. I will be back soon. Hope you liked the video. If you did, please leave a comment, subscribe, become a member, or just come back next time I'm showing a video. Have a nice day. Bye.